Trump is seriously dangerous for trans people and everyone else, and we have not been taking it as seriously as we should. Earlier this year, a trans woman in Florida was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor for using the women's restroom. Her name was Marcy, and you can look up information about her online. She's been very, very, very vocal about it. And I think the reason this is so problematic is that trans women are absolutely not going to be welcome or safe in the men's restroom. You know, the crazies out there will be like, well, they're men, so no one's gonna bother them. Like, no. Personally, I can speak from experience. Earlier this year, I was at a busy club, or rather on New Year, so I guess the start of this year. I was at a busy club, and the women's restroom had a ridiculously long line, so I went to use the men's. This was pre-surgery, pre-facial femme. I was clearly a trans woman, and you know what happened? They cleared every man out of that restroom and had security come in to escort me over to the women's restroom. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is the very rules that we would have to follow as trans women won't even be allowed. I think if you really think about these bathroom policies a little more closely and a little more realistically, it's not going to be passing trans women who have to deal with this. It's not only going to be trans women, it's going to be anyone who is gender non-conforming or who doesn't fit into the Christian, white male, cisgender, conservative idea, okay, of who should be in what bathroom. Like, this is widespread. You know, if you look at trans men who are now using the women's restroom in Texas, a lot of them are big, burly, buff, bald, bearded men. That was a good-ass rhyme. But seriously, and they are getting kicked the fuck out because they are not welcome in the fucking restroom. Like, I'm sorry, but as a woman, if there is a big, buff fucking man in my restroom, I'm gonna tell him to get out. And if he's like, no, I'm a trans man, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're a man, you gotta get out the restroom. Like, that is just not safe. Just like I don't feel comfortable with a cis man in my restroom, I don't feel comfortable with a trans man in my restroom, because at the end of the day, they are still a man. Okay? You have to understand, these Trump policies aren't about punishing trans women. They've never been about trans women. What they are about is about spreading this Christian conservative idea of who should feel comfortable using public spaces. We're not talking about, you know, gender ideology or this left transgender propaganda, whatever they call this, radical terrorists, I think is what the FBI is calling trans people. What this is about is it's about segregating the use of public spaces and the ability to feel free and comfortable in public away from anybody who is not a conservative looking white fucking Christian. Like, ultimately what'll happen at a trans level is those who have money to medically transition will be able to just use their restroom freely. Basically, trans women who fit into this hyper feminine idea of what being a woman is will not be bothered. Trans men who fit into this idea of what a man is to these Christians, these fucking Nazis, will not be bothered. The people who will be bothered are LGBT people. Not even really the T. Are people who express outside of gender norms, women who wear more masculine clothing, men who present more feminine, gay men, non-binary individuals. You can even look at Trump's campaign ads where he's like, they're coming for your rights, or some stupid shit like that. What they're going for is everybody who's not them, okay? And you can look at Project 2025. A big part of Project 2025 proposals was classifying transgender people as pornography and making pornography a crime, which would be any expression of transgender ideology, which for many trans people, queer people, and non-binary people is simply just existing, okay? And At first, it was like, oh, okay, this is what the conservative crazies are talking about. At first, even Trump tried to distance himself from this shit. But now you need to look at what's actually happening. They're following through with firing everyone in government who doesn't serve them. Mass government layoffs for liberal-run, like, fucking parts of governments, okay? Mass deportations done illegally. Like, literally look at what happened in Chicago. They raided, I believe it was a 300 apartment building, going into every house, locking up every fucking person, over 300 people, women, children, kids, fucking tying them up and putting them on the pavement for hours, destroying their homes, causing massive, irreparable property damage. And they only made 3 arrests. Like, look at this as what it is. This is what the Nazis started to do, okay? They are not policing immigrants, they are policing brown people. They are not going after gender ideology or basing this around what biological sex is. They're coming after people who don't fit into their idea of what a white Christian fucking capitalist oligarch society looks like. It's that fucking simple. Like, I'm sorry, but it is really, really, really bad. Even if you look at the FBI has essentially been worked into this system to protect Trump from the fallout that's gonna come from these fucking Epstein files if the true files ever released. Like, and the FBI, Trump's personal little system, has been trying to classify people, trans people, as terrorists. Like, y'all, do you know the punishment for terrorism? Fucking death. Okay, fucking death. Like, the message is clear. Get the fuck out now. This is only worsened by the fact that Trump is now trying to repeal transgender passports, the passports of trans people. You know what that means? That means if he does that, that we can't leave. That we are gonna be victim to whatever the fuck he has planned for us. Like, they're expanding ICE. Like, they are already carting people off to these terrible facilities. Like, even the one in El Salvador where people are known to die. They're sending people to die, okay? They're sending people knowing that there's a chance that they die and they're not following a proper system. If you think this stops with what they're doing now, it doesn't, okay? It just doesn't. There's a poem that I want to read. I gotta look it up, but here. Give me 1 second. If you've watched this far, please subscribe, like, comment, check out my other socials. Okay. I'm gonna read the poem. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Like, y'all gotta understand, this is not a normal fucking conservative coming after us as they've used to. This is an attempt to reintegrate segregation into American society at a permanent and dangerous level. Like, y'all, this could not be more serious. Anyways, see y'all in the next video. Bye.